When is the dumbbell bench press the absolute worst exercise you can do in the gym? Today we're going to cover that, along with all the worst exercises for muscle growth if you haven't worked out in a while. These tips will also help those who are new to training. If it's been years since your last workout, you're basically a new lifter all over again. And even if you've only been off from lifting for a month or two, you can't go back into the gym thinking you're going to be able to lift the same amount of weight as you did before. Every exercise is a bad exercise if you're lifting too heavy, using poor form, or partial repetitions. One of the best examples of this is the leg press. How many of you who go to the gym have seen a guy overload this exercise and only do a 6-inch range of motion? You're better off lightening up the weight and getting a feel for a full range of motion. You can put your low back at risk by going too far down with this exercise. You need to stop before your butt lifts off the seat or your low back loses contact with it. As a home workout guy, it's not very often I do leg presses, and I prefer the more functional squat. There are exercises we do at home that make the worst list simply because they're not good exercises to build muscle. For example, the Renegade Roll. The added instability created by doing a row in the plank position will challenge the core stability muscles, but because of this instability, you aren't able to lift heavy enough to stimulate new muscle growth in your lats. You're better off sticking to the basics, and for our back, that's bent over rows, pull-ups, and chin-ups. Most of us understand that curling or squatting on a physio ball isn't a good way to build muscle. Other exercises aren't so easy to see. An exercise that comes to mind is the dumbbell clean and press. Now, it's a great exercise, often used in metabolic circuits, and develops whole body explosive power, but it's not the best for building the glutes, hamstrings, or even your delts. Because of the cardiovascular nature of this exercise, our circulatory system becomes exhausted before the muscles do. There are loading, momentum, and range of motion issues too. You're better off breaking it up into 3 different exercises: Romanian deadlifts for the glutes and hamstrings, squats for the quads, and of course, shoulder press for the delts. These are basic muscle builders and allow us to focus on working the muscles instead of the movement pattern. Every exercise that's done without a proper warm-up first is dangerous and puts you at a higher risk of injury. I'm not talking about spending 20 minutes on the mat foam rolling either. That's just a waste of time. I break warm-ups into 2 parts. A general warm-up at the start of a training session. This should last 5 to no more than 10 minutes. I timed mine and it works out to about 7 minutes. You start with light cardio to get the blood pumping, then do some mobility work, basic calisthenics, or dynamic stretches to get the joints warmed up. Then we have our warm-up sets before our main lifts. I tend to train with high repetitions, so I don't need many warm-up sets, but the heavier and lower rep you lift, the more you'll need. I recommend at least 1 to 3 sets done between 50 to 70% of your working weight. These are done early in your workout and on your compound lifts. As you get to the end of your training session and into isolation work, you should be warmed up and don't need to do any more. Many guys fall into the trap of training only their mirror muscles. All they're doing is chest and arms. This is when the bench press, dumbbell or barbell, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter! Becomes the worst exercise you can do. All that happens is as you train your chest, it gets tighter and tighter, and your shoulders round forward. Your underdeveloped back isn't strong enough to pull them into their proper place. The result is you can't even display your chest correctly because of the poor posture you've developed. You need to cut back on the benching and double up on the back work, making sure you're not only doing a lat-focused exercise, but something for your upper back, like elbow-out rows or face pulls. It's essential to use the correct exercises to build a balanced, muscular physique. To help out, I made a list of the best dumbbell exercises to build muscle. Watch this video next to find out what they are and keep working out while having fun. This is Lawrence from Fit and 50. We'll talk to you again in the next one.